Okay, I am working on numbers 1 through 4 in this video, and I'm going to show you how to do some of them by hand and then some of them in your calculator. So depending on what way you like to solve these problems, you can do them in your calculator only, or if you like to do them by hand, you can check them in your calculator to ensure you get the right answer on your test. So for this very first one, let's zoom in a little bit. To solve this one by hand, we have to take this -9 out here on the outside of our parentheses and start distributing it inside the parentheses. So we're going to have -9 times a, which gets us -9a. We've got -9 times a +3, which is going to get us a -27. And we're going to keep the rest of what we have. Okay, now we're just solving for a. So I'm going to get rid of this 27 first, and because it was a subtracted 27, I'm going to add, which is the opposite. So this turns into a 0. I'm left with -9a equals, and this is where you can pull out your calculator. So don't be afraid to type things in if you're not sure. So we've got -171 plus 27. We get -144. So now I'm going to get rid of this -9, which is connected to the a by multiplication. So I'm going to divide by -9 to do the opposite. And I'm going to get a equals, in my calculator, I can do -144 divided by -9, and I get a +16. So that is how you solve this one by hand. Let's solve another one by hand, and then I'll show you the calculator steps. For number 2, we like to get rid of these bottom parts of fractions first before we can get rid of the top. So right now we're dividing by 26. I'm going to get rid of that by multiplying by 26 on both sides. So times 26 and divided by 26 go away. I'm left with -6 plus n equals, I have a -1 times 26, so that's going to get me -26. Now I only have one step left because I'm looking for n. So I'm going to add 6 on both sides. This becomes a 0. We get n equals -20. So you've seen how to do both of these by hand, but let's try numbers 3 and 4 by what's called INSOLVE. And at the top of your paper, I want you to write INSOLVE, and it has to have an equal sign, and it has to have one variable. So in our calculator, there's something called numerical solve. It only works if you have an equal sign, not an inequality sign, and it only works if you have one variable that you're using. So if you look down here at number 9, we can't solve this because there's 2 different variables, x and y. So for number 3, instead of solving by hand, if you're not sure what to do, you can go to your calculator. You want to be on a calculator page. So if you need to start over, go home, new doc, don't save. You're going to hit the menu button, go down to algebra, and the very first one is what we call INSOLVE or numerical solve. I'm going to type this one in exactly as I see it. So -192 equals 8 times 8 plus 4x. Notice how I typed in the parentheses exactly as they were on my paper. Now here's the important part. At the very end of this, inside this first big set of parentheses, I have to put a comma and the letter that I'm using. So because I'm using x, I'm going to put an x. But if I typed in number 1, I would want to use the letter a. So I'm going to hit enter. It simply gives us our answers, and we are good to go. Let's try one more in INSOLVE, and you should be good for 1 through 4. So once again, the steps for INSOLVE. You're going to hit menu, algebra, numerical solve, and I'm going to type this in exactly as I see it. Oh, typed it in wrong. -108 equals -6 parenthesis 2x plus 6 parenthesis. I have to add the comma and the x at the end because I used an x in my problem. and you get n equals 6. Good luck, you can do it!